Hey guys, it's Dave. I wanted to share my experience of something I call the marriage snowball. I'm going to give you kind of a brief overview of what I am calling the marriage snowball, and then we'll go in a little bit of in depth and have some action items at the end. What the marriage snowball is, it's neither the snowball itself is neither positive nor is it negative. It's neutral. And as a partnership between you and your wife, this can either spiral down very hard negatively, or it can spiral and build up positively. But in whatever direction it's going, it is hard to change. So it takes definitely a lot more effort to change the direction of the snowball than just keep it rolling. And for instance, in marriage, you're going to find that if your partner or your wife is saying something negative or digging you for some reason, that is very easy to get defensive and dig right back. And it is very hard to actually give them a compliment when they are digging you. In retrospect, when you start complimenting your partner, it's hard for them to start really digging you or really getting negative about certain things when you are complimenting them. So you can see how the snowballs, it's neutral, but whichever way it goes, it tends to continue rolling that way. The thing to be aware about with the snowball is, as humans, we tend to be overly negative. We tend to, because life, business, parenting, there's so much stresses involved and so many challenges involved, we tend to be negative. So we have to force ourselves to be positive, which is definitely probably the most challenging. I think the reason for our negativity is it's not our fault. It's not because we're evil. It's not because we're bad. I believe it's actually a safety mechanism for our survival, because we normally look at what the worst possibility of things are. So if our kids are walking next to the side of the road, we think they could get hit by a car if they step out into the middle of the road. Does that happen? It's a very small percentage of the time, but that's what our brains go to. When we're walking in a park that has a cliff, they could slip, they could fall off, and they could die. These are just things that we think about. We go to almost the most negative or the worst outcome of this possibility, but this is a survival mechanism in our brain to keep us safe. So our brains kind of live in the negative to keep us safe. This doesn't really help us in marriage when we're drifting to that negative worst zone, because we don't need anything if we love our partner and we know they're there to support us. There's no reason to always be keeping ourselves safe. But that is the reason that snowball can easily start going in the wrong direction. When somebody makes a dig about, hey, I thought you were going to pick up something for dinner tonight, or I thought you did this, and I'm really frustrated that you didn't watch the kids all day. It's very easy to get very defensive and then dig right back at your partner. But when you start doing that and you go back and forth, what ends up happening is that snowball is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's hard to stop. It's hard for somebody to give the other person a compliment. Now, I'm going to give you some action items that I have found that have helped me, and what I've been using recently that I have found helped, and one that I believe helped today. One of these action items is, instead of responding or reacting to something your partner says, instead you can just tell your partner, I'm not feeling very loved right now. I think that it's not necessarily being defensive. It's just letting them know, it's just letting them know that, it's kind of not acceptable. You can say, I'm not feeling very loved and I don't appreciate the way you're treating me. Usually it's just gonna at least throw up a roadblock for that snowball to continue going, or for you to just dig right back into your partner, which doesn't help, because then it just goes back and forth and you guys are just building this big negative snowball. It's what you're doing right there when saying, I'm not feeling very loved and I don't appreciate how you're treating me. You, in essence, are stopping that snowball from going downhill. And then you can try to build in some compliments, build in some, words of affirmation and other stuff to get that snowball going and back in the right direction and get everything back on track. And it's much easier when you're in those good vibes than it is when you're in negative vibes. It's very hard to get out of those negative vibes. But those are the actions that I've found that are helpful. I hope that helps. If it does, if you think that might help somebody else, definitely like this video, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'm just trying to help people out, and I'll see you next time. See ya.